Welcome to Toxic Superfoods Exposed. Meet Sara, a 67-year-old gym enthusiast whose life took an unexpected turn in her 40s.
I had a very sudden loss of my vision. I had rashes, eczema, IBS.
With no clear answers from doctors.
I went to 5 doctors over a period of 2 years, suffering in extreme pain. My name is Sara. I'm 67 years old, and I'm retired, and I'm a bit of a fitness addict. I've been training in a gym since I was 24 years old, lifting weights. Before that, running, swimming, bicycling, and any kind of sport or activity I could do, as long as it wasn't competitive. I enjoyed really good health into my early 40s, and there were circumstances in my life at that time that were extremely stressful that may have precipitated some of the issues that I had that could have led to toxicity in my body that I now do believe was oxalate related. The particular stressor I'm talking about was the death of a spouse, and he was only 37 at the time. I was so busy during that whole time that I couldn't think. I don't think I ate very well. I barely ate at all. And about 2 years after he died, I had a very sudden loss of my vision in my left eye. I was sitting in a meeting at work, and the sun came in the window, and everything went black and white. It was an early morning, about 9:30, so by the time I could make it into an eye doctor and find out it was an early onset cataract, I was a bit nervous because that eye had distant vision and my other eye had only close-up vision. So without the use of my left eye, I could only see as far as my hand is here, clearly. Everything was a fog. And I was at that point a single mother with a young child and a job, and it was a very big load of stress. Had rashes, eczema. I was diagnosed during that time while I was waiting for my cataract surgery with IBS. In other words, my stomach would constantly give me pain. I just got through it. I had to quit my night job, which I needed for financial reasons, because I couldn't see to drive. I did get the cataract replacement done, and I did learn a little about managing my diet and IBS, and found out I had to eat a little better. Better meaning more fruits and vegetables and fiber, is what I was told. My cataract surgery was a complete disaster. I took the bandage off, was able to see clearly for part of a day. After that, all I could see was pretty pink and blue clouds and forms moving, couldn't make out faces. Even when I wore glasses, because your vision goes like this, it's sideways, still had a lot of obstructive vision. And this continued for 6 months, during which I was getting rides to work, rides everywhere, and help getting to the grocery store. It was horrible. And I really sympathize with anybody that loses their vision. Although I had sought help from a specialist and was assured it was probably temporary, so I didn't give up my driver's license. My vision did return after 6 months to some extent, but never very well. Everything was always very blurry. I couldn't make out street signs. Had to wear glasses everywhere. Couldn't read a thing. Gave up some of my hobbies, and you could see me wandering around the gym like this, ducking so I didn't hit my head because I had no binocular vision. Halos around everything. And that continued. So I think as a result, partly of that major stress, the IBS did not resolve. I ate a high fiber diet. At some point, more vegetarian than I tried everything. I tried vegetarian, vegan. Little by little, the things got better, but I was eating potatoes, sweet potatoes. I wouldn't eat meat because I thought that was going to make it worse. And my doctor at the time told me you shouldn't eat fatty foods. You have to eat high fiber. So my diet mostly consisted of potatoes and other starchy foods, beans, and subsequent visits to him, because sometimes I would eat a salad for lunch and be doubled over in pain, and I had to sit when I got to my gym because I would squeeze in a gym workout. I'd never stop training. I had to sit and wait a half an hour just to change my clothes from my work clothes to get out on the gym floor. Subsequent discussions with my doctor He would examine the rashes that I developed on my neck, my knees, my elbow, and said, I'm 100% sure you have celiac disease. Okay, so that means now I don't eat much meat, I don't eat much fat, I don't eat anything with gluten in it. What's left? So I began to eat a lot of brown rice, high oxalate grains, and I didn't know what oxalate was. It was never discussed with me. Became mostly vegetarian, it's still. Some chicken, some fish. Never felt better. It was not getting any better. If anything, I seemed to be getting worse and worse. Go ahead a few years and I lived like that. I never stopped working out. My vision never really improved that much. My night vision was horrible. But I could get through life. Met another partner, remarried. I was a year before retirement. The stress of the job became extreme. And again, I worked in a government service agency, which was hit by layoffs, low staff. Things were pretty tense. So I decided, with the help of a natural doctor in cardiology, to try a full vegan diet without the fats. This is what we are told is the healthiest thing you can possibly eat. No fat, no gluten, just beans, millet, rice, oats, vegetables, all kinds of vegetables. I did all my own cooking, made my own gluten-free food, sauces, all kinds of cooking. Got out, and for a couple of years, I felt great. I really felt good. I thought this was the answer to everything. My vision still stank. I developed pain in my wrists, pain in my knees, my feet hurt. My left knee would kill me all the time. If I walk on a treadmill, it was so painful. I stopped running. I had bursitis in my hip. And at one point, my wrist hurt so badly that I had to go to PT, and it was 6 weeks to heal. But I still continued to train and do what I had to do. So I wasn't enjoying myself that much, but you look at me on the outside and everything looked great. The inside, old age, it's just old age. I did finally abandon that vegan diet because then I developed tinnitus, and it was extremely loud. 5 years in, buzz was so loud I couldn't lay in a room and it just tried to go to sleep. You couldn't stop it. It was crazy. My husband at the time, one of his relatives was a nurse, and she let me have it. She said, that is not a healthy diet. You have to stop it. I went back on meat, just hard for me to do, eating beef again. Beef, chicken, all low carb with vegetables. And I felt a little better. Over a period of time, I had a little more energy, felt a little better. Things improved. Went along for 2 years, but I got more creative with cooking vegetables. And I started making soup. What a mistake. I'd make my own broth, started making vegetable soups with chard and kale and spinach and all good things, and drink the broth. What I know now was I was drinking poison, and what I've learned from Sally's books, it's pure poison. I woke up one morning, at the time I was 60, went to the bathroom, it looked like beer. I had burning pain where the sun doesn't shine, like somebody had taken a lit cigarette, and immediately called a doctor. This one doctor told me I had to get a biopsy, which did not feel so good. As after that biopsy revealed nothing but inflammation, she decided I had a condition called LS and I needed steroids and estrogen cream. And I said, no, this happened overnight. I do not have a condition that you're telling me is hormonal or age related. It's not. It happened literally overnight. Well, no, that's not what it looks like to me. Okay. 5 doctors. I went to 5 doctors over a period of 2 years, suffering in extreme pain. I blamed everything from the car heated seats to my leggings to you name it. Didn't want to go into it anymore. I was at my wit's end when I finally found a very kind doctor who talked to me about how much protein I ate, which was, even on a keto diet, very little, because I was worried about eating too much of that, too much protein, too much fat, my heart. She forced me to up my protein. She made sure I never ate any more beans. She told me beans were bad, but she still didn't explain oxalates to me. And I started to get better. Actually, a lot better. Wasn't really sure why, because again, nobody ever explained oxalates. But she also reinforced the condition that I had. had a name. So I started Googling information, and that led me to Sally's work, and it led me to a pain foundation, and it led me to a lot of people's testimonies where they had said oxalate. It's okay. I'm going to try that. Lowered my oxalate. I talked to my doctor, and I also looked up a number of sites where you could find information about oxalate, but they really said you just have to cut out the biggest things. So I did that. There wasn't much left to cut out. I already knew not to touch the chard. I didn't eat the beans. I still ate some nut butter. I did occasionally eat protein bars made of almond flour, but I thought just one, not going to hurt me. I healed somewhat, but I never healed completely. More and more I got on YouTube, and my son was talking to me about a carnivore diet. What is that? He was losing a lot of weight. He looked really good. I didn't know anything about some of the things I read in Sally's book. A year ago to the day, after going on carnivore with my son, I was starting to feel great, but there were times I still had flare-ups. I didn't realize that I was still eating very high oxalate foods without meaning to. I thought they were low enough. If you read the kidney sites, they say it doesn't matter. You only really have to go under like 200. You don't have to worry about anything but chard or rhubarb. Those are the things that they mentioned, extremely high oxalate foods, which I wasn't going near. I got Sally's book a year ago for January 2023, Sally Norton's Toxic Superfoods, and I read it. And there's a lot in here I didn't know that I can't find online. So I read it, and I read it again, and I came to understand her concept of trigger doses. Her lists were very clear. Her instructions were very clear. The directions where you keep it low all the time. If you go off your diet even once, you decide to have a curry today, go right back under your 50 and stay that way. And I did. I followed the instructions to the letter. A few months after starting that, without high hopes, that left eye that I had had damaged with the cataract surgery that I never saw very well out of, which was watery almost all the time, I passed 2 large grains, like when you get sand in your eye, but they were very large and they looked like little tiny kidney stones. A few weeks later, I passed more right out of the eye. I woke up in the morning and I was horrified. I didn't know how they could come out. The watering in my eye stopped. There had been some inflammation in the eye that the doctor had told me I needed steroids for. That stopped. Sometimes when I would walk, everything seemed very clear to me. Light seemed brighter. My knee didn't hurt anymore. My hip didn't hurt anymore, which had never stopped. My knee had never stopped hurting. All the years I'd been training, it had been 20 years since I did a full squat. My shoulder pain stopped. My elbow pain stopped. I have arthritis in my back of my neck. That doesn't bother me anymore. I'm never in any pain. And here I am, 67 years old. Little by little, I improved more and more. Mind you, this has only been a year. Kind of surprising to me. So for that, I would say anybody that reads the kidney sites and reads that it's impossible for you to have crystal deposits anywhere in your body if you don't have kidney stones, or you don't have kidney disease, or you don't have Crohn's disease, or some of the other diseases that are affiliated with that, or haven't had bariatric surgery. They say it's impossible for you to get pain or discomfort from oxalate deposition. Well, I don't think that's true. When I first found Sally and I first tried a low oxalate diet, I did not have success with it. But that's probably because I was still eating some high oxalate foods a little too often and harming myself. I never consulted with anybody about oxalates. I just was told that's not possible because I don't have kidney stones. It's not a possibility. But I never got all well like this from anything anybody else told me to do. And I wouldn't take medication either. I never did hormones. I never used steroid creams. I never did anything but try to change my diet. I didn't take a lot of supplements. I don't want to. So I had to find my own way, and it took a very long time. I would say don't take years like I had to do. Get Sally's book and read that cover to cover and read it often. And don't believe the naysayers that say that it's impossible. I don't think it is. I think it's highly possible that you could be affected by those little nasty crystals.